7:30, the point
Yeah,
in time
I got
for the
7:30.
Norwood Permanent Building Construction Committee to initiate its meeting. Welcome. We have a guest here tonight, Pat, what's your last name?
Fitzgerald.
Pat Fitzgerald, Tara Construction, Kathy Carney, Town Purchasing Agent, Ted Callahan, Chairman.
Bill O'Connor.
Bob Silk.
Jerry Hopcroft.
And Linda, our secretary. I guess the first thing we should talk about is this new project with the elevator. Do you have something you want to talk about first?
If I could just say, I have the designer, Frank is going to be, Variety is going to be calling in at 20 minutes of 8, because I
Okay.
wasn't sure. I figured that you gentlemen could get some of your other business taken care of, and then when he
Yeah.
calls in, and that way, because I didn't know if 7:30 if you guys
Sounds
had
like a
other
plan.
things.
Okay.
So I
I like
figured
it.
we do that.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the secretarial invoice for tonight.
Second, anyone?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. And then I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of 12:12.
Everybody read the minutes?
Yep, they look good to me.
Sure, you're out.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, okay.
All right, and we'll leave that with you to pass on.
Okay.
We'll skip over the town hall elevator until they call. Anything new on the capital?
Yeah, I made contact with a potential HVAC guy to come up and look the job over. He's known to us, he's the guy who's done work with Kathy before. So I feel comfortable he's gonna work out.
Okay.
But I haven't had quite gotten a time to meet him up there. I'm hoping early next week I'll do it. I'm hoping that we could keep it in under 10 grand. It doesn't look like a big expensive job.
Yeah.
Also, I talked to Paul and Ali about their contribution, which means that they've got to dig the old areaway back in there to get
Yeah,
to
the
make
area
that
well.
opening. Yeah, but in talking with him, we talked about the ambient air, and it seems that we discovered up in the turret, a funny looking thing that sticks up in the air there. It's Edgar Allan Poe special. But anyway, the floor of that actually has venting from the fireplaces inside the building, so the air is actually going up the two fireplaces to the roof. There's two vents up there,
Yeah, yeah.
and this doesn't get. There's two other vents that are at the new roof that they put in over the original roof, which created an interstitial space, and they're venting that with these other vents. So we feel that right now, I think the ambient air based on the projected occupancy of the building is about 320 CFM, something like that. And we think that all of that will probably be enough to get the job done without adding to it. So
Even for when they have a little event like they've started to do?
yeah,
Okay,
we
good.
figured anyway, the fire department, I think, has come into the picture, and they're saying you can have an occupancy of somewhere around 45 people. I think I counted 45 chairs that there was
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
so.
No standees.
Well, I mean, I would think that would put it
Well, you're
somewhere
gonna
in the
get
order of
standees, and then they'll open the door and all this
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
stuff. So by and large, this whole thing, based on how long it takes the cemetery guys to reinstate that areaway and open up that small opening in the building, that we can get the ductwork over there, will be okay.
I mean, for an event like that, I mean, so you're probably talking 700 CFM you need.
No, they,
What about that?
the numbers
Like
we heard.
15
yeah.
CFM a person sound about right to people?
What?
Like 15 CFM per person for outside air?
That would be
That's the kind of- that's the
600.
kind of
50,
number I
a minute? What's the
15,
change? What-
15 cubic feet per minute of
per minute? Yeah,
ventilation
yeah,
air.
Yeah,
So 45 people, that puts you in that 600, 700 ballpark somewhere in
Yeah.
there, if doors are closed and stuff. So as long as there's
Well,
enough,
the boiler is still bringing in the
but
combustion.
you still
air.
need that combustion
Yeah.
air.
But we've figured out that we're gonna have to do something about the vent that's on the door, right, that big heavy door.
Yeah.
And to allow the return air back down into the,
Okay.
so the nether regions.
So the only key to bring up is, if, you do the outside air, combustion air, if you need something else for added ventilation because of the use, let's make sure they split those costs, so those costs don't come out of the,
Well, we'd have to add,
Conservation Commission.
yeah, oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I'm well aware of that. What I'm trying to do is avoid that.
Yeah, well, if we can, don't have to, that'd be great.
I don't think,
If there's enough natural
I
flow.
want to look at that ASHRAE thing again. I think that the 600 may be a little over the top, but I'm not
Well, it was
sure.
something like so much per square foot plus 15
Yeah, I got it
CFM
written
per
down in
person.
my book somewhere. I forgot. I just
Yeah.
didn't think that would come up.
Well, the designer, is he a HVAC guy?
What?
The designer that you had,
Oh, yeah, it's HVAC.
Yeah,
Is
so he
it
would know
Ken,
what
is it
the,
Ken Beck
ASHRAE code
from
is.
BLW?
Uh,
Who
The
did you-
designer?
Yeah,
No, he's the guy from, this guy is named, oh God, you would ask that question.
Norwood Engineering?
No, they're up in, they're up in New Hampshire.
Oh,
We're talking about the guy who designed it, not the guy who's gonna make it.
oh,
The other guy is, old Norwood name. Oh, boy. I forgot. I forgot the name. But he's done work here in the town, that's why I called him.
okay.
Huh?
I don't know. We usually use BLW Engineering. That's who we've used
Where-
for a lot
where's
of our
he at?
HVAC kind of stuff.
Where is he at?
North Shore, he's in Massachusetts though.
No, this guy is down on the South Shore.
Oh.
And his name was given to me by people around town, like the cemetery, and I think, what's her name, Carrie up at the senior center.
I don't know who they're using. That's all right.
Yeah. So that's in hand. Also, there was, you brought up the question about the window project, and that's on me. I haven't quite finished up the,
Windows here.
yeah,
yeah, I was still thinking.
Okay, so we're all clear in the chapel.
yep,
What you need there. Look at this. This will go to
okay.
window. Anything new in the high school roof?
Nothing.
Nothing.
And that really has got my attention. I don't know what's going on there, why we haven't heard from them.
Okay.
So that brings us back to the elevator. Do we have can you want to say to open up things here?
Well, we have Pat Fitzgerald who is here from Tower Engineering, Tower Construction. What I'd like to do tonight is at least I just want to let the PVC know and Tower know the dates that we need to make sure that we have some kind of access to the second floor. And this has to do with primaries, elections. We have things that are stored upstairs that we're gonna need to make sure we can get out, or if that's not possible, that we move them ahead of time so that the voting booths and things like that that are kept in the tower, we don't want the custodians of DPW to have to walk them down 2 flights of stairs to get them out of there.
You talking about the second floor in this building?
Yeah, second and third floors. We have things stored in the tower, so we wanna make sure that we can get everything that we need to up there. Okay,
go.
so. Oh, yep. Uh-oh.
I hit HF. I don't know what to tell you, Kathy.
What'd you do, hit the wrong one?
No, I'll let you do it.
Oh, poor Frank.
You want his
Let's
number?
try it again.
Yeah, what's your role? Are you the
Um,
project manager or?
yeah,
Okay.
I'm the vice president of the company, but
Oh, okay.
I'm oversee the project management of this project and
Call back.
Well, Kathy's doing that.
Second.
I had a phone call with Frank today, very productive call, because I had a lot of questions. I went through this and this, specifications and the drawings, such as they are. And I understand this is the way it was put out, and you bid on these particular drawings. Is that correct?
correct.
Okay. Now, the first thing that I noticed was that there wasn't any table of contents in the site, in the spec that I got. I don't know about the one you have. But there wasn't any in mine. Frank said there wasn't any in his either, so you'll probably put out a table of contents, because it's kind of difficult to get through, because the spec does not follow CSI. It's a little different than CSI.
Yeah.
The other thing is that right now, CMR 540, I think it is, requires that all of the drawings should have an engineering stamp on them, or an architect stamp. Right now, they don't have those. Frank is aware of this, and he said they'll issue new drawings with the stamps on them. So, there were other questions I had, probably of detail kind of stuff, but, I haven't got to it all. I told him that I'd have a team back with him again when I know a little bit more about that thing. But essentially, it's pretty much what you expect when you're dealing with these kinds of, it really is, it's not a new elevator. It's a reconditioned one we have.
Yep.
But one of the things that jumped out at me was the fact that you are changing out the cylinder, the jack. And so that's a biggie, right?
It is.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do that, you know, you gotta do a couple of things, because they're also changing and holding on to the platform and the sling that, they're taking all the other parts off that elevator property. You gotta do something with that while you're changing out the cylinder. So they're gonna haul it up at the top and button it in, right?
That's my understanding,
Okay.
yes.
The only question I had is, when you get the, pulling out the cylinder, Frank thinks you can break it up and just take it out in pieces. Is it? That's the impression he gave me.
My understanding is he will be taking it up and breaking it in sections, yes.
Okay.
Not in one piece.
But when the new one goes in, that's about a 12-foot plus or minus.
Yeah, 12, I think it's at least 12 feet.
Yes. My only thought was, if you're gonna get it in, you got an 8-foot height on the door, and I suppose you're coming in at an angle and you're kind of swinging it into.
Yeah, my guess is they'd probably be setting something up from the second to help sling it. Come into the first, sling it, and then drop it.
Yeah, but you gotta ooch it in this way. You're not gonna have to do any modifications to the height of the door, because you wanna bring it in straight.
None are anticipated right now.
Okay, so that we talked about that, and he kind of straightened me out on what was gonna happen. We talked about, the work that's going on in the machine room for the elevator, and I'm still not clear, but, because I didn't see it on the drawings, but in my experience, when we used to have a remote, machine room like that, elevator machine room, we used to have to duct to it, to the hoistway. And he tells me you're not gonna do that.
No, you get a mini split system going in there.
There's a mini split, yeah. But how are we gonna get air in the damn room? I mean, you can't put a louver in the door.
Well, do you really need ventilation here? I mean, you have.
No, you don't want
need
circulating,
cooling.
you gotta be able to circulate out the mini split.
Well, no, I mean, that can just recirculate the air that's in the room. You don't
But
have
there
a
isn't
fresh
any air in
air,
there.
but you don't have a fresh air requirement because no people are in there,
No, no, that,
right?
That's my understanding.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I
Hey,
mean,
how are you?
you're the doctor on that one.
Yeah,
but
I don't think.
Yeah,
you-
no,
I mean, if
that's
no
a
people
little
are in
Right,
there.
and I
crazy.
used to
I'm gonna
think the
put
way
you
they
on
invented
speaker,
those
okay?
machine rooms, they came out of the machine room.
Frank, you
with-
there? Yep. Okay. Okay, so we have Frank Barati from Salomon and Associates. He's the designer on this project. So Ted, I don't know if you want to go over some of the stuff you started with earlier?
Frank, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm told I mumbled, so I'm sorry. You still haven't found your table of contents, or is that squared away?
No, we didn't. I don't believe we had one in there, as I was telling you today. So
Okay, can we correct that? Send everybody one
not a problem.
with a get well card or something? Okay. The other thing was the engineering stamps for the drawings. Do you have a problem with that?
No, we'll get you stamp drawings for permitting. That's not an issue.
Okay. Now, one of the things we talked about was, because in my past I've done these things, and I remember having a duct that came from the machine room on a remote, when you had the remote location for the machine room, you had a duct coming off that went to the hoistway, and it was usually 2R rated. Is that an archaic concept now, or is it still in vogue, or what?
No, because we're going to have the split that's going to take care of that.
So there's
Okay.
no requirement for any fresh air at all?
I do not believe so. I'll double check it, but
Okay, double check code. I wouldn't think there is, but you never know.
In other words, if we undercut the door an inch or so, would that do it?
I'll check on that, Ted.
Okay.
But we might not even need it, you know.
No, I think we will. I think you want to
But
do
he'll
that.
check the code.
Okay, I'm having a little brain burst here. Bring us up to speed on anything we talked about that you may be still thinking about, Frank, would you?
I'm sorry, what was that, Ted?
Yeah, some of the other things we talked about that you were Can you bring the team up to speed on those?
You had the question about the louver up top, and we're going to be replacing that. And we need we're going to have because right now you just have you've got an open louver there
Yeah, oh yeah.
of a closed section. That's not allowed anymore by the energy code, so we have to put in a closed louver there.
It's like a barometric damper,
Well, actually,
or will be actually actuated.
I think we actually have an actuator on there. To be quite honest with you, is this Pat?
No,
Yeah,
I'm here.
He's here.
I'm
I
here.
don't know who's asking the
Oh, why
question.
don't you identify
I'm sorry.
yourself?
This is Bill O'Connor.
Oh,
Bill is a member of the permanent.
he's got a motorized damper.
Okay.
Okay, now, the size of those louvers is based on 50% free air or what?
Yeah, the size of the louver is based on the free air.
Okay,
When does that damper open? Like any time based on the occupancy of the building?
No, it's tied into the recall.
Oh, so it's only under fire situation for, okay.
Correct.
Very good, okay.
okay. All right, now we talked with Pat, right?
Yes, sir.
We talked with Pat about the, and I brought up the subject of the, getting the old jack out and the new one in. I guess everybody has got no questions on that, at least nothing came up. So we understand that. There are a few other things I remember. I'm trying to think of what they are now, I should have written them down. But anyway, can you remember anything else we talked about?
We talked about that, and I know you questioned the discrepancy between the general scope of work and
Yeah.
the one
How about
division
that?
and the elevator. And as I stated, that was just a general. That's why we have the note there that says this is pretty much the major stuff, but it's not limited to just that. There are other items
Yeah. Well, what he's talking about is.
that are required by the drawings and specification that the contractor is responsible for, and I'm pretty sure that Pat knows that, so he's got it covered. Right, Pat?
That's correct.
In
It's,
in the general conditions, under scope of work, it showed 20 tasks to be done. When you get over into the elevator, there's 36 tasks. I just wanted to make sure that, we're gonna have
Yeah.
a big fight later on about,
Yeah, we try to get a little more specific in the elevator because it mostly has
Yeah.
to deal with the elevator, so.
I buy that, because you told them also that it should be as further noted in the text, right? Something to that effect.
Right, it's not limited to that, so they are responsible for everything, so it's not just that.
And then,
Can I jump in for
Sure,
a second?
yeah.
So my understanding is the elevator being a filed sub-bid, he owns all the items under his direct scope of work in his specification. Related items might be an overlap that might fall into my window that we need to coordinate. That's typically how the specification.
so you're acting as the general contractor, so,
So the general contract, I have like electrical, I have mechanical items that then go in other specs, as well as painting, patching,
So-
the
so-
louvers. That would all fall under me in addition to all the coordination.
okay.
But the elevator sub-file, he owns that entire section of the specification
Yeah.
from start to finish. That section, whatever that is, 14,000.
So 14, it's in the
Yeah,
14 division.
that's his.
There's only 2 divisions in the spec, and that worried me a little bit. 14 for the elevator and 26 for the
For the
electric.
electrical.
And-
Yeah.
But for, Ted, that's what I was trying to explain to you today, is what Pat just stated, that, you have the elevator guy, he takes care of his thing, and then everything else will fall under Pat.
Right.
The reason you only have the 2 specs is because that's what you, typically the 2, for all intents and purposes, other than the small little bit of mech.
I understand that, Frank, but I'm still trying to figure out where does the general contractor fit in? Because the elevator guy, you say that he has to have a file sub-bid application.
Well, it's filed sub-bid due to the amount of the money.
Right, we did it as a GC, and the only filed sub-bid was elevator, because nothing else was estimated at $25,000.
Yeah, but I want to say, I couldn't find any specs for a GC in there, apart from the general conditions. Like, fixing doors, taking the doors out and putting new ones in. All of that's under the elevator contract?
That's my understanding of it,
Right,
yeah.
so under and again, I brought the plans, I don't have the specs. Do you have the specs? I could take a
Yeah,
quick.
so the hoistway doors are part of the elevator, they're not on the GC. That's part of the elevator.
Right. That is all part of, we'll say, their scope of work.
Okay, I mean, because there's a lot of things associated with doors. There's quite a bit of tasks associated just with the doors. Landing devices, which I assume it is that 1 inch adjustment at the landing on the elevator?
That's part of his scope of
Yeah,
work, right?
okay.
So typically what I do is obviously, I need to schedule him to visit the site, verify everything as I do with all of my trades. I'll be happy to review the scope, but usually filed sub-bidders, it's pretty black and white. They know what they own based on those documents. So whatever's in that scope, which looked pretty comprehensive to me, I do remember seeing 30-something line items. The
Yeah,
plans pretty much call out the general what they're doing. If he has any, questions or contradictions, we'll just contact the architect like a typical RFI process. That's typically how it goes.
so apart from just those 2 sections, your work is in the Division 1 of the specification.
Yes, and I mean there's a little bit of demo for cutting the
Yeah, I
sub
know,
pit.
I know.
I mean, is there a demo spec? No, but I realize
No,
when I have
there's some information on the drawings to that.
Right. So I know I have to do that. That's part of my umbrella.
Is there
The
enough-
Louver, same thing.
The split,
The split is a mechanical guy. He's a
but
sub.
there is no mechanical.
There's no
spec.
mechanical spec, but I believe there's a
Mechanical.
basis of design that has to be submitted and
Right.
approved
And
on.
With-
he'll report to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's
But the requirements are in like the general part of the spec or something?
again, that's my understanding. I don't know
Okay.
exactly what it says.
I-
But right
I asked
now, I
that
can tell you I
question,
own
I
a
think-
complete mechanical system.
I
for
think
that
it's being
basin.
carried by the electrician, isn't it? It's Mitsubishi.
Uh,
Frank,
No.
Frank,
Yeah,
who's carrying the Mitsubishi, the elevator guy or the electrician?
No.
Geez.
whatever
Geez.
Pat has, whether he got it, whether he's got his electrical guy, I highly doubt it, or a mechanical guy, would most likely provide the Mitsubishi split.
Okay,
Right.
where we don't have we don't have a spec except for whatever is on the drawings. I didn't see a mechanical spec.
No, so I have to go off the basis of design. I have to formally submit it, and the
That's not a big deal, but I mean,
No.
yeah.
No, but I don't have I only have the electrician wiring it,
Yeah,
but I have a mechanical sub providing it, so
I understand, but it's,
Typically what is done, the electrician's just gonna wire it up.
yeah.
so it's under the big thing that we always worry about, the cutoff number when we have to deal with $25,000-$30,000 worth of work, which we're nowhere near.
No.
No.
The estimates aren't anyway.
All right, the only other thing that I can think of that is bouncing around in my mind is, how are we going to handle the physical plant where you guys are working? Because the general conditions talk about lay-down areas and possibly having a shed or a shack out there. Maybe work something out with Kathy and get a room in the building or something. I don't know where we are with that.
Do you have a plan for that, Kathy?
I think the easiest thing would be, we don't really have a room that we can put anything, because space is really tight here. But if you wanted to bring in a pod or a trailer or whatever you need to do, we've got the 2 parking lots, probably the second parking lot, and you would have access to it right there.
Right. So most likely, what I was figuring on is definitely dropping off a Connex box, which is
Yeah.
a storage container, and depending on how much room my elevator sub actually needs for his equipment. If I have enough room to do an office, you've seen those storage with
Yes.
the office
Yeah.
in the
Right.
front. I only need a small office for just,
We did that on the last job.
Right.
Right.
Now,
So
it-
I'm probably it's hopefully just the width of a parking
Yeah,
spot.
it won't be a problem, because with the light department moving on Tuesday from 206 Central, we're gonna have probably an extra 30 parking spaces, 25 parking spaces in that second big lot there.
On the other
So,
side,
yes,
yeah.
on the other one.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to put something up there without a problem.
Right.
Well-
And I would only be looking for one. It wouldn't
Yep.
be like
Right, yeah,
Yep.
but if you found you needed more space, we can easily accommodate anything.
Well, the only other thing I can think of is when we have weekly meetings or monthly or whatever the schedule's gonna be, that, everybody gets together and talks about the progress on the project. And I don't think we could be doing in that little.
I mean, is this room used
This
on a
room is
daily
always
basis?
available.
So
Right.
right
Yeah.
here would be the
The
place.
room,
For the
this room
meetings.
here we could use.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just let me know
When
ahead
we
of
get a
time.
schedule for that, we should let you know.
Yeah, as soon as you have a schedule, we'll have Sharon Cartier put that into the meeting room computer listing, and we'll have it all set up for
Okay.
you. But there's never a problem for meeting
What
rooms.
are the dates? Have you got dates established yet?
I don't, but I just wanted to let y'all know that I talked to the town clerk's office, and they're the ones who really have a schedule. And so what they've got going on this year, as you know, it's an election year, And so March 3rd is the presidential primary. And then there's the town election on April the 6th. They've got town meeting on May 11th. So they've got a lot of things coming down from the second floor. The state primary is September 1st. And the presidential election is November 3rd. So I'm sure you're going to be well out of here by November 3rd. But
So, if I may, right
Yep.
now, a schedule that I could certainly, I could pass it around. It's small, so this is pretty much a draft. If you'd be kind enough just to pass, I think I made 8 of them. But right now, what I'm looking at is I've got to verify the conditions, which I'm looking at doing next week, and applying for my permit. If you're able to, and I'll reach out to you after. What is his name? Jim? Is it? Who's on the phone?
no,
Frank.
it's Frank.
Frank. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Frank. I'm gonna just probably reach out, call you tomorrow, just to give you. We can exchange some contact information.
Yeah, give me, I have meetings in the morning, Pat, so if you can give me a call in the afternoon, I should be in the office.
Okay. But basically, I need to bring my team through, verify conditions, make sure there's no problems, so we get those worked out.
Sure.
It doesn't look like we'll be doing the windows this week.
Alright, so right now what I have is basically, I'm trying to get all my submittals out of the way by early February so I can release the material. Right now the material, the long lead items are about 6 weeks. So what I was targeting is having my materials and mobilizing the first week of April, which looks like it works well for right after your town meeting date of April
Yep.
6th. So I would be
April
looking
6th
at
was the town election.
Town meeting, yeah, that's
Town meeting
the
was May 11th.
May 11th.
the May 11th is going to be. I'm going to say that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, so what we'll do is I'll work with the town clerk's office and I can see about moving some of their things ahead of time. We're making sure we have the DPW and they have a way of getting all of their things down. I don't think they have any large equipment, it's mostly boxes and things like that that they've used. But yeah, I don't want to stop it in the middle. If you're in the middle of construction, we're not gonna just say, oh, no, put it back.
No, but to your point, if I plan on starting April 2nd,
Yep.
moving it 4 days to help the town meeting would make
Yeah.
sense for everybody.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
but basically,
Yeah, once Pat starts town
what'd you say? I'm sorry.
purposes,
Start date for the town's purpose.
So right now we're looking at taking it basically out of service somewhere around April 13th,
Okay.
April 15th, in that range.
Yep.
And I'm being told right now it's estimated about 8 weeks. So my duration right now is I have 52 calendar days, which is about 7.5 weeks out of service. That'll put me somewhere around June 25th.
Okay,
To put the thing basically wrapping up, and then I have a couple days of startup, a couple days of operation, and 5 days of punch list. So it should be somewhere around that final inspection no later than July 13th,
okay.
depending on how that process goes. So I shouldn't be anywhere near the September date. If I do, we have.
We've
Bigger
got some
problems,
problems,
so.
right.
So most of it's the upfront procurement, getting the submittals in, getting them approved, and then basically waiting the 6 weeks till the material arrives.
And as far as the permits, the fees are waived on this as a municipal
Yep,
job,
so
so.
that- yep.
Yep, check on that.
I believe we
Works
already.
with all with the town hall itself and all the goings-ons.
It does with the goings on, the Maytown meeting, you know, we'll work around it and we'll figure out how we can get, we'll have to use DPW and make sure that they can help carry the boxes and what they have to down there. But I don't think they don't have any large equipment. The public, we're gonna move, make sure that the public has access to the personnel from the second and third floor while this is down. So we'll set aside an office either in the basement here or on the first floor so that they'll have access to it. Because I don't want to, you know, delay the construction. I don't want to have it start sometime after May. That just won't cut it for everything.
Yeah.
We want to get you guys in and out, and, you know, so long as your long lead time items are
Come
getting
in,
in
right,
when you're
so-
expecting.
So right, obviously we'd be updating you accordingly, but I wouldn't be starting to take things out of service if I
Right.
didn't have everything.
Yep. Okay.
The only thing I would add is it possible to, I can't read the fine print here, but is it possible we can have a pre-construction meeting before all of that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So, I don't see.
Line
any-
10 is a pre-construction, couple of days.
What's that?
Right,
Line number 10 is a couple days of pre-construction, so I assume
Line
meeting can
10.
fit in there.
Oh, there it is, yeah. 2 days, okay.
exactly.
That'll do it. That's,
Right around the middle of April.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
April 14th it says.
Yeah, well, you're talking about maybe starting around April 13th, so we'll move it forward.
Yeah,
a
we'll,
few days,
we'll
but-
adjust it,
yeah.
and again, if,
Mhm.
so like I said, if the material comes in a little bit sooner, obviously,
Yeah.
soonest I could take it out would be April 7th anyway, so we
Right.
would have to just coordinate that.
How often do you think we'll be needing the project meetings? What do you usually have?
I would say it should be every couple weeks, just to
Couple
stay
weeks.
healthy, to keep
Yeah.
everybody on the same page.
Why don't we start that off? Because toward the end, it'll probably should tail off a little bit.
To the end?
Toward
We
the
might need a
end.
little more at the beginning and a little more at the
Yeah,
end.
because you
Right.
got
Probably
shot
less in
towers
the
and that
middle
kind of
while
crap.
things are just moving along.
Right.
Mhm.
But I mean,
Okay.
I would, if you wanna do it every couple weeks, that's what I would
Yeah, a
recommend.
couple of weeks are good.
Keep everybody on the same page.
Yeah. So I'm also the building manager here, so I'll be the contact person
What about
when, if you give me a heads up. Usually if you know a couple days ahead, I know sometimes things happen and, you know, all of a sudden we have this problem, but anything like, any loud noises, any drilling, you're gonna have anything like that. It tends, where you're working is far away from some offices, but, you know, we've got the ground floor here and the noise carries and everything. So I like to just give the employees in the building here kind of a heads up
Heads
as
up.
to what's gonna happen. If there's going to be a lot of dust, are you expecting anything like that? We have an employee who can't be around dust, so if that's the case, I'll need to relocate that employee to another area or have her work from home during a period where you think there might be a high dust situation going on.
So, there'll definitely be some dust.
Yeah.
The extent, I don't really know right now. I know we have to cut some holes, I know we
You're
definitely
gonna
have
need
some
any
saw
asbestos?
cutters.
Okay, yeah, because she's on the third floor, so, I mean, if you're working down here, it's not a problem, but if you're up on, you know, near the roof or near the third floor.
There's cutting up in the
Yeah.
roof with the.
Right, that's what I
so,
figured.
absolutely.
So just a heads up and just, you might have meetings with them every 2 weeks, but just to keep me in the loop so I'm aware of what's going
Absolutely.
on. And then I can make sure my custodian, you know, I'll introduce you to him and he can make sure that we keep the dust down as far as being tracked throughout the building and everything. So we'll figure out what your schedule is, how your employees are gonna be coming up and down, probably using the main stairwell.
Most likely, yeah.
But, yeah, because that's really about, we have a side one, it doesn't come from the basement, but it comes from the first
First
floor.
floor up,
But,
yeah.
yeah,
We're gonna have to establish a baseline,
baseline of what?
dust.
Oh, like an air quality baseline or
Yeah.
something?
I've never done that before.
That might be a good idea.
Mhm.
How about asbestos? Do we have any problems in that regard?
No,
Have you had
remember we
any-
had the, when they were, looking at the town hall renovation, they identified certain areas where there,
Nothing that would affect us?
nothing in that area, no.
I was looking through here and I can't seem to find it, but there was a contract in here someplace. And I saw Tony Mizuko's signature there, but with an empty space.
You looking for the contract? I'll
Huh?
give you the contract if you want.
Oh.
That's,
Basically, just thinking it's not a fully executed contract from the version you had. I assume you have a fully executed contract? Yeah.
yeah, that was distributed this week.
Yeah.
You have it? Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if some of the copies don't have all the
Right.
signatures.
Well, I saw one with the town manager's signature. That doesn't seem to be this one.
Well,
No,
the
we have,
gap is
we have
fully
other
executed
copies that have been signed.
By both
Because
parties.
what it was is we were
Well,
waiting
my
for.
point is that there was one there for construction manager.
That was just boilerplate kind of stuff, Ted, left over from a previous contract.
Well, you need a construction manager.
We don't need a construction manager.
You do need a,
Not according to the state statute, we don't.
You talk about an OPM?
yeah.
We don't need an OPM on this. It's not
Do I have to call
1.5
Attorney
million.
I'm calling
It's
Attorney
not-
General.
Ted, it's not more than $1.5 million. That $1.5 million is when you need an owner's project manager.
Then who's running the project? You?
I'm telling you, I'm the procurement agent.
Yeah,
I'm
Who
MCPDO
handles- who
certified, and
handles-
I'm telling you, Ted, you don't need an owner's project manager.
then why are we here?
Because the PBC has control over this afterwards. After we went out to bid, after we got the pricing. And so now it's in the hands of the PBC. So we
Yeah.
don't have an owner's project manager. We have this now being handled by the PBC.
We are collectively the owners project manager.
Right, but we don't have a,
Don't have to tell me, I've been doing this for
Yeah.
a long time.
me too, Ted.
But somebody has to be, yeah, but longer than you, longer than you.
Can't fight that one, can
35 years, Ted, so I'm getting close
Well,
here.
I've been doing it for.
Yeah, so what do you see as an
6
issue?
I don't wanna take your paper, can I grab
Oh,
that back?
Yeah, I have it back.
What do you see as an issue there, Ted?
I don't think she's qualified to act as a project.
I'm not
Well, no,
acting
with
as
the
the
committee,
project manager.
we are,
Okay, this is not,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about this right now, it has
Okay.
nothing to do with us.
No.
Right now. So, right, anybody got any more, Frank, you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, you have any questions?
No, just when were you thinking of having you want to do the pre-construction a couple of weeks before April or something?
No, according to this, I have it in front of me, it's item 10 on the schedule, Tuesday.
I don't have a schedule, so I can't see what you guys are looking at.
It's Tuesday, 14th of April.
right around the beginning, so about a week before construction starts.
Yeah, well,
And that'll get determined as specs come in and probably,
exactly,
What we can
this is a baseline schedule, just so everybody kinda knows what we're looking at for putting the project together. Again, the dates could change based on the materials coming in, but knowing that April 6th date, it looks like I'm lining up pretty well,
Yes,
so.
yeah.
All right, so a week before you're going to hit the ground running, Pat, we're going to have one.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes,
sounds
absolutely.
good.
Yeah, and you'll just have to give me a heads up for what you think you're gonna have for your Connex. How
Yeah.
many, what area you're gonna need. We'll make sure that it's closest to the walkway, closest to the building.
Yeah,
I don't know, while you're working up on the roof and everything, are we gonna need to, at some point, block off parking areas there? Cause we have a handicap door right near the base of the tower on the ground floor. So I'll need to know ahead of time if we're gonna be blocking off any of those parking spaces.
I'll have to assess that. I do know we will have to take at least a couple of spots out when we rip the bushes out to
Yeah.
get the concrete
Sure.
pad set and
Yeah.
the fence, but
Yeah.
again, we'll coordinate that as we get closer.
Okay, yeah,
so
will you be
I-
bringing a crane in?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't, right now I'm
Yeah.
not sure we will, but
I
okay.
don't think you need one. do you?
no.
No,
No,
it's,
but I get access, I can work up in the lift.
Where the hell are you
I
gonna
can
put it?
lift. What?
What would you do with a crane?
I'm using it as a boom lift. I don't know if I need a boom lift to do some of the work up.
But outside the building?
I'm not sure that I do yet, but I don't want to say no at the
Where,
beginning.
where would you be coming into the boom? Bring the thing for the penthouse?
I have work up in the penthouse. I haven't been up there yet,
Right.
so I'd have to,
yeah,
I know it's close to the edge and I know I got some demo.
So you'd have to do some kind of opening up in the penthouse, to get whatever it is you wanna get in there.
We do, we have to cut open some block, remove it, and install the louver.
But with the platform in place, you wouldn't have any access to the lower part of the hoistway. From overhead.
Again, I haven't seen it, so,
Well, the thing, you said you were gonna take the platform and the sling all the way up to the third floor and lock it in.
no, I didn't say that.
I thought I heard you say that, okay.
No, I didn't say that.
What
I
are
would
you
let
gonna do?
my elevator guy would be the one to answer the technical things.
Well, he says he's retaining the platform and the sling. So you gotta do something with it.
Right, so how he's doing it, I'm not prepared to tell you exactly how he's doing it
Okay.
tonight.
okay. The reason I had asked about what you're bringing in is, I know that the town hall parking lot is, scheduled to be repaved at some point.
Okay,
So as long as I know you're bringing it in, we'll make sure we end up last on the list.
Sure.
So that we don't have any heavy equipment coming into this area and, after we've had it paved.
okay,
So it's more just a matter of scheduling that I
Yep.
wanna make sure of.
no problem.
Make sense?
Yeah, don't wanna do it twice.
Anybody got any more questions?
Not me.
Jerry, Bob,
Pat, you, any questions?
thanks for
Ross?
coming. Good luck with
Just-
this project.
Thank you. I just want to confirm payrolls, same thing we did at the airport, and I sent them to you electronically, right?
Yeah. Would that work for you guys, and then I'll forward them along to you, the certified payrolls?
I would
Or
think
you
so.
want me to, do you wanna see them first, or you want me to forward them along to Frank, or? Frank, do you usually do a review of the certified payrolls?
No, typically they just go straight to the owners. I don't need to see them.
Okay, do you gentlemen want to see them, or?
Will you review them and make sure they look all
Yeah, we'll
set?
take a,
I wouldn't be too
Okay.
worried about it then, from our standpoint.
okay, yeah, so you can just submit them via email to
Okay.
me.
And then invoicing, usually how I do it, once a month. After I receive an approved schedule of values, where I break down how much the job is worth.
Yep.
You do use the standard AIA requisition form?
We do, yes, we do,
Okay.
yep. I usually
Yeah,
do
just send me a, Pat, I don't know how Ted wants to run it, but typically a week before the end of the month, just send me a pencil copy after the schedule of values is approved, you know. And then, you know, once the pencil copy is good to go, we'll go from there.
Yeah, that's usually how I do it. Pencil copy gets distributed electronically. Everyone reviews comments. Once it's approved, I finalize, notarize,
Yeah.
and send it.
It's
So I
kind of
just,
standard,
it's standard.
standard with us. Yeah.
Yep. So is how many originals do you need? Some people don't even want original; they want electronic. Some
Generally
people-
speaking, we get 5,
if that's what you want.
because we pass them around plus file and stuff like that.
So you file one, send a couple back.
And the way it usually works, the pencil shows up sometime like the third week of the month.
So that's about accurate. We usually have all our subs invoicing due around the 20th, and it takes us a few days to get it out.
Yep.
So that's pretty close. Yep.
So just kind of keep us posted on that, because sometimes kind of we coordinate when we have our meetings like tonight around when we might see an invoice so it doesn't sit too long.
And
So
do you guys
keep-
meet once a month, or
It's
how do
often every 2 weeks, but it depends on how much
Depends on
work
our
we
workload.
have.
Sure.
So we might say we might not need one for a month, but knowing the rec's going to commit at a certain point, we might schedule it for the next Thursday so
Understood.
it doesn't sit to get it back quicker.
Another thing to keep in mind
Understood.
with regard to change orders, we work with a CCD setup. So in other words,
A
each month.
directive?
Huh?
A directive.
Yeah, a change order directive, and sometimes we can't wait to the end of the month to pay it up on the rec, so we have to approve it when it happens. And that way we carry it. We usually have maybe 2 or 3 change orders on the CCD, and the CCD would accompany the requisition.
That's
I
fine.
mean, that must be the way you guys do it too.
It depends. Everyone's a little different.
I don't wanna hold.
No, I'm fine with working with the directives. Some people don't want to do anything till they have an approved CP and it's done ahead of time. It takes a
Sometimes you
little bit
don't have-
longer, but
You don't have the choice, you gotta get the thing
There'll be no
done.
change.
Well, Pat, there's not gonna be any ones except
Yeah.
credit, right?
That's what I
right,
just said.
that's
that's
what Bill
usually
just
how
said.
these meetings start off. There's no change.
By the end of it, it's like, oh no, here it is again.
Yeah, we don't wanna talk, that's a bad word.
So all of the members of the PBC have Town of Norwood emails. So once we're done with this tomorrow, I'll send you a listing of everybody's contact information, and you've got Frank's,
Okay.
so that you can do things electronically, and it works easy, I think, to communicate via email. That way we have everything in writing as well.
Okay. Now for submittals, am I sending them direct to Frank, or do you want me to copy everybody on the submittals?
Do you guys
No,
want
you
to
should
submit
send them to the architect first,
Right.
and then we'll take it from there.
Okay. No problem.
Frank, you're all right with that?
Yeah, it's fine, you can send it to me and then I'll disperse to everybody else.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's.
Do we need to see him before they're approved? If he has issues and it goes back and forth? I don't
No, if
think
he
we
has
need to.
issues, he lets us know,
Yeah.
we go and try to figure out what the issue is and how to resolve it. But that doesn't mean if he approves it, that we don't have a shot at it. I mean, the
Oh, sure.
PBCC, yeah. So, this is the best way we've been doing it. The CCDs and this kind of an approval process seems to work best.
But if something comes in and you've got obvious problems, I think feel free to work it out before you start sending us copies of
Well, generally,
submittals.
when you have these, like every 2 weeks, you usually know about what the problems are at that point, so it usually is ironed out before it gets on the pencil rack.
No problems. There are going to be no problems in this
Kathy
in this
will
building
not
that's
allow it.
this 91-year-old, 92-year-old building. There's not going to be any
She will
problems.
not allow problems. All right, Frank, did you have any other questions or comments or anything?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay.
Right, one question. On the Mass Building Code, the Boca 9, is that right now?
The Mass Building Code uses
Yeah.
the International Building Code
It
2015.
didn't-
if I'm not
Okay, it
mistaken.
used to be the Boca, now it's the International. There's a section in there about existing buildings. Did you look at that?
I looked at a lot of it, Ted. What's the question?
It's unique to Massachusetts. I don't have access to that code anymore, but if you can, do you have a copy of it? You can take a look, because there may be something in there by working on existing buildings that we haven't talked about.
Anything specific coming to mind, or
No, I mean,
just
it's
make
been a
sure
while.
they've got all the bases
Yeah,
covered?
because it's kind of a complicated thing because it talks about different types of structures.
Right, so just make sure your bases are covered.
Yeah, this, yeah. If you would look at that,
Well, I'll go through code again, but I pretty much thought we're complying with it. But I'll give it another.
but they have, all I'm asking is that you look in that existing building section, just for the heck of it.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
not a problem.
Okay,
All right, I think we're good,
Everyone
Frank.
all set?
All set?
Okay, thanks, Frank. I'll be talking to you.
Pat, thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
by.
Have a good night.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
My pleasure.
Thanks for
Got
coming.
it to work.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Great. Where do you live, Pat?
Seacon?
Okay, a little
yeah.
bit of
You
traffic.
don't do any work in Boston, you seem to know your
I will not go
company's
to
name.
Boston. I will not work in Boston. No.
I don't blame you.
What's wrong with that?
Getting in and out?
It wears the staff down. Guys, the commute just
Oh,
grinds them down. They don't.
Oh, if you've got a trailer.
hell, I
in
worked
Boston.
on your Roger Williams College, I did
A little different traffic pattern.
did a
It's
couple of
totally
buildings
different.
down there.
It's totally different, and yeah, no, I try to stay out. It's
Nice
a
part of
different
the world
market.
too.
What?
Bristol,
Bristol is nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bristol's
I
nice.
like that place.
Yeah.
Thanks for
All
coming.
right, thanks,
No
Pat.
problem.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
I'll get you all
Appreciate
the contact information, okay? We
Okay.
can put something
Safe
together.
drive
for you.
home.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Have a good night. Nice
thanks.
to meet
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Thanks. And,
Hope kidney feels better.
Oh, thank you.
that just leaves old and new business.
Um,
You got anything?
Yeah, we've discussed everything, I think.
You got anything
I
else?
can't think of any new business.
Jerry?
I have,
He's got something.
on recruiting, I updated the ads we had and talked to the people here, like Sandy Moore, who runs the operation up Topside, and the community, which is run up at the high school, Sarah Sullivan. And they're gonna repeat these ads, and hopefully we'll get some interest.
Is it still on the cable TV, do you know? too?
Yeah,
Used to be
that's
there.
the
Yeah, there was-
NPA.
Yeah.
There was an ad, I
Yeah.
saw it.
community
I haven't seen it.
Now
I
it's
saw it, but it's
community
been a while.
media.
Linda, do you want those?
community media.
Yes, NCM now. Yes, all right.
So that's
Okay.
all I have.
All right, I'll make a motion we adjourn then.
Okay, good.
Wait, let's set up the next meeting.
Yeah.
It
Well-
sounds like we don't need anything too quickly.
Well, we might need some, get an approval on this work at the chapel.
Oh, yeah.
We gotta get that ironed out because I keep getting some pressure from Joe to write a letter, but I don't wanna write the letter
You
until we
know,
know
he
how much this
was,
thing is gonna cost.
the last meeting we had, he talked about some letter he was writing.
You already wrote the letter.
Oh, well, who was on the distribution?
I don't know, he sends it to everybody. What can I say?
Yeah.
It's on the website,
Oh, okay.
so I guess nobody's free of those letters. They keep coming, like it or not. But I don't wanna answer the letter until I know what that,
Yeah, so we know the game plan.
what that cost is gonna be.
Yeah.
How about we shoot for like February 7th? That's 3 weeks.
What's that? Where am
We're with the 16th over on the right here.
I? Okay.
So 3 weeks should be the 6th. That's
Yeah.
not 7th, the 6th.
I'm having cataract surgery somewhere along in there, so I wouldn't wanna miss the fun we always have here, so. I'll let you know. Let's make it temporary.
The
seven.
the sixth,
So
yeah,
we
the
have a
sixth
date
is capital
for
outlay,
February
just so
what?
you know.
February 6th, is it?
Capital
Does that
outlay
affect
meeting.
us at all?
It doesn't-
February
I don't know that it
6th?
affects you guys, it affects me. but-
Six, yeah, six.
6th, yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Well, we'll shoot for that.
we got a motion to adjourn.
Then I'll make a motion for adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.